Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the session. Right, where did we leave it? Let's see. Yesterday, we have managed to clone into our local system, and also, can somebody remind me, like, did we clone it into the remote EC2 instance? There is a green
Yes,
tick.
we did.
We did. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right,
We are on SSL to our repo
what was the thing? No,
from
okay.
from AWS Linux. We are trying to connect. We are trying to push it. We committed. We are trying to push it, but it was
Okay. So it does not matter. You can do it. Was it from AWS or local? Was I
no
using
AWS.
Git?
Yeah, our
Let me check.
Linux.
Let me check. There was some test. No, both are Linux. Both are Linux systems.
No, the
No,
Mobi
sorry. Mobile XTerm. Sorry, yeah. So one is Windows, but then here I'm using Git Bash in the Windows desktop. Yeah, you're correct. One is Windows and the other is Linux. So let me, anyways, I have to start the instance. So let us do it from both. Oh yeah, I remember. It was on from the Windows system because there was some error, token authentication error came up, right? We need to
Exactly. Yeah.
authenticate ourselves, right?
Yeah.
The file was added, but uh, how do we authenticate ourselves to the GitHub repo? Like there can be any XYZ computer. How does GitHub know that this is the authorized person to push code? Like this is a two-way arrow. Now, once you have cloned, then you will start making changes in the code base. When I say you, once again, this is a role play of a developer. We are just learning the basic Git commands. Okay. We as DevOps engineers, we will be maintaining our own code base, but that will be related to provisioning and configuration files, not development code changes. Here, what I'm showing is something of a development code change. So, okay, pointless to log into this thing now. I should get into my project folder in the Windows system. So DevOps basics, right? Here, we need to right click and open Git Bash. There you go. So we are in the DevOps basics main branch. Fine. So if I quickly do a Git status, so one branch is ahead. Now, before pushing, you will need to authenticate yourself. There are multiple ways of doing that, but the best way to do it is you have to assume that you will not. So obviously, this GitHub repo, which is present, this is a remote repo. The developers will not have direct access to this. Okay, if everybody has got access to the main repository, then that is a security breach. Only authorized people should have access. So how can you authorize somebody? Now, once again, the concept of key pair will come up. Okay. So this is day 10. And so let's start with what happened? GitHub. So this is going to be secure shell authentication. So how we are going to do this is, of course, we need a key pair. Give me a second. Let me open up my Google search so that I can have images. It will be much easier for you to realize it with images. So what we are going to use is a key pair, right? This is too large. You don't need it to be so large. Okay. So here, first of all, we will generate a key pair. Where? So this is a key pair. We will who is connecting to whom? Think about it. It is our use the same image so that it is easier for you to understand. Let us remove these. Local PC git, and this is fine. Okay, and let me also make this a bidirectional arrow so that it is more meaningful, because the thing needs to be both ways. Because both pull and push, both will be involved. Okay, now then you can ask me, like, when we did the clone, sorry, where is it here? Yeah, no, here. So when we did the clone, why were we not stopped? Because the files were, so one-way transmission happened, right? We downloaded data from GitHub, right? Why was there no authentication involved there? The reason being, if you check your GitHub repo, the project which you have forked, okay, or rather the code base that you have right now, if you check it, it is public. Whenever it is public, it does not require authentication. Anybody in the world can actually view this, download this. Okay, but nevertheless, it was still secure because it has got a HTTPS. Okay, it is still a secure download that happened here. Now, although it allowed you, the GitHub repo allowed me to download it, it did not allow me to upload from my local system. That is where the key pair concept comes into picture. That is where that is what we are going to use. No, let us, there are two use cases here. Let us divide it. This is A, use case 1, and this is use case B, not 1 to AB. Okay, one is from a Windows 10 system, and the other one is from a Linux system. The Linux system is hosted in our EC2 console. Now, in both the scenarios, conceptually, the SSH authentication still remains the same. Okay, so what you need here, okay, now think of it in, actually, this does not need to be, can I group it? Not really. Never mind. I'll just, so here there is an important concept. Where do I put it? So in order to make use of this, first of all, you have to generate a key pair. Now you have to understand, like, who is connecting to whom, who is the client and who is the host. Okay, so one is system is client. And one is the host. So in other words, let me rather not use this term. It might be confusing. Let me rather use the words connecting PC and remote PC. This concept will repeat itself every time. Okay. So who now, unmute yourself and try to interact with me and answer the questions that I'm asking. This is a very I've seen people who have been working for more than 5 years, yet they do not because they bypassed this system, they still do not have a proper understanding of SSH encryption. So try to answer my questions, what I'm asking. It will also prep you for your interview. Now, one is the connecting PC and the other is the remote PC. So now compare it with our use case A. Okay. So now which one is the connecting PC and which one is the remote PC? I am asking you to compare here. One is the GitHub server and one is your local Windows system. So here
developer PC is remote PC, I guess, or my PC is remote PC, and I'm connecting to remote PC, connecting PC, which is Git PC, I guess, in this case, right?
No. Who is the developer? The Windows 10 system, right?
Windows, yeah, myself, yeah. In
So
this scenario,
you are the person who is wanting to connect. GitHub has got no interest in connecting to you. Why will GitHub try to connect to you? Then GitHub has to connect to. So from your perspective, yes, you are trying to connect. Okay, so your system is the connecting PC, and from your perspective, obviously, then GitHub is the remote PC.
Okay, yeah.
Got it? See, yes. Actually, the word was written here also, remote repo, right? Local PC. So all the developers will always try to connect to the remote PC. If you have forgotten, then this is the laser pointer. Where is the image for this? Somewhere I had created an image. This one, see? All the developers are local systems, okay? They are all connecting to the remote repo. So individually, each developer system is the connecting PC. And hence, GitHub will automatically become the remote PC. So GitHub needs to authenticate you. And you have to prove your authentication. Okay, so GitHub is the remote PC. And connecting PC is your local PC. Right. That is the reason why the person who wants to, now here you have to, like there is a thing here. So this local PC is developer, okay? Now, local PC is owned by the developer, but the remote PC, in this case, not a PC exactly, but this will apply to any remote system, okay? It can be like it will definitely have to be a computer in order to, it may be a server, it may not be a server, it may be a database, it may be something else. But if it is remote, then the concept of SSH authentication will come into picture. And in our case, this is GitHub is the remote PC is actually a server. Okay, but then who is taking care of this? In a normal scenario, in the project, SDLC project, a software development or a software maintenance project, there will be someone who is different from the everyday developer team. Okay, who is going to own the GitHub repo? Somebody senior in the management. Maybe it is owned by the project manager, or most probably it will be the operations team who are going to operate this. Someone senior from the operations team. So in other words, what I'm saying is these two people will not be the same role. They will be different people in the normal scenario. Okay, the developers and operations are different from different teams. So somebody senior from operations will have the, for example, this login that has been done here. Now, this like, what is the name here? Whatever username it is. So B71 DevOps, this is the owner of this GitHub repo. Okay, so they are not the same person who is using this. So this is the local PC, and this is the remote PC, remote GitHub server. You can think of it like this. So there will be a chain of authorization approval process. Okay, so how it is supposed to happen is the person who wants to connect to the GitHub they will generate a key pair in their local system. Okay. So how do you do that? That command I will show you, but let me first clear the concept here. They will create the key pair. So that means this key pair, both the values, the public key and the private key, both of them are residing in the developer's PC. Okay. So this key pair is residing. Okay, why is it not converting into a line? This is residing as a pair in the developer's PC. Okay. The public key and the private key, both. Now, the developer usually will send an email. In that email, they will provide public key is something that can be shared. Okay, you are never supposed to share the private key. Now the developer, so in an organization, obviously they are supposed to be on the same email domain using some Active Directory structure. So at somecompany.com or their name @ some companydomain.com or .in, .net, whatever. But they will have a email domain. Okay, so that all the emails are then controlled through some Active Directory. Using email, you can actually very easily group people, maintain their authorization access level, multiple things. Okay, so usually in companies, I mean, like Windows is the most popular operating system. So these are all Windows softwares. Active Directory is actually a Windows software. So whatever it is, your email domain will definitely come into the picture. And then via email, a person can be authenticated. So here, I'm trying to mimic a real-time work scenario here. The developer will have something @ xyz.com, let's say. That xyz.com is the company domain. So they will send an email to the operations person, who is owning the GitHub repo. Okay. Now, in the email, what they are going to send is the public key. Okay, this public key they will send by email to the operations. Okay, it did not convert into a line. I don't know why. Oh, come on. So they will send an email here. And in that email, they are going to provide the public key. Okay, this will be part of the email. Now, obviously, the operations personnel will be able to identify, okay, this developer called Tom, he will verify that, yes, this gentleman is or lady is part of the project team. So this is not a spam email. Now, in the email, they are going to send the public key. As I said, the key pair will generate two keys. One will be the public key, the other will be the private key. Who is generating the key pair? The developer or the connecting PC, the owner of the connecting PC, developer. Okay. And then this public key, the operations manager is going to add in their GitHub. There is a particular place in the settings where they can add. That is the first step. After that, because now the public key is part of the GitHub, is identified in the GitHub repo. Now this PC will always use the private key actually to do a SSH connection. And they will now, it will actually match the private key will be that the developer is going to use will be corresponding to the public key of the key pair that the developer generated. The operations guy actually authenticated this person via email. And then they added the public key. So now this developer should be able to access the GitHub remote PC. Okay. This SSH concept, it applies to any connecting PC to remote PC. This SSH connection using SSH key pair, the same thing will be applicable, be it from one Windows system to Linux system, Linux to Linux, Windows to Windows, anywhere. In this case, this is a GitHub. It does not matter if the remote PC is not managed by you. Somebody is managing it. If they can authorize you and add, all they have to do is add the public key from the key pair that you generated. Okay. And then you should be able to access. So let's go through that process, how to do that. So first of all, first step is generate the key pair, right? The steps here, number 1, generate key pair. Obviously, I'm referring to SSH. Share the public key. So here what I mean is developer sends email to, oops, crap. Ops manager. Where they are sending the public key, right? Then finally, ops manager adds key, adds public key to GitHub with some time limitation. It is never infinite. This is another security feature. And then these are the 3 steps. And then, I mean, like pointless to write it, rather I can show it to you. But remember this, because this is a little bit confusing. That is why I wrote this thing. This compare it with this diagram, what happened here. Okay. So let's do that. How do we generate a key? So that we are going to do. That same step you are also going to do, whatever I'm doing here in the Windows PC. The SSH concept is universal, okay? Secure shell thing is universal. It also applies to your Windows, Mac, Linux, all of them. Okay. So now what you have to do is, first of all, check. In Windows, it is a little bit different. So this is your present working directory. This is the path. Okay. Now, the simple command to generate SSH key pair is actually SSH keygen. Okay, that should be enough. But the thing is, okay, so it will be something like this. It is showing you the path. Okay, so let me actually, let me copy the /users_admin1. I cannot use this / in the Windows Explorer, because if you remember, Windows uses the other /. What is that? /. This one is /. So the SSH key, there is a .ssh folder. Once again, .ssh is a hidden folder, right? So it is in this path, /users_admin1. So let me actually navigate there. Windows C Windows, this PC, C Windows, and then what? Admin1, right? No, what was it? Oh, not Windows. /users_admin1. Sorry, my bad. /users_admin1. And then there is this .ssh folder. In case you are not able to see it, go to view and then like hidden items. You have to check it. Anyways, does not matter. It is viewable. So go get into .ssh. Okay. So right now, if you see in this folder, I'm still in the process of creating it. Okay. So there will be 2 files that get created. In the security, in the key pair, when I'm using SSH keygen, this command. So there will be 2 files. obviously one is the private. So
Kilo, does it has to be on that user folder, or I can just run on my current location?
yeah, for the beginning, see, this part is a little bit confusing. I would suggest you, because this is done by the system, okay? It is giving a default path in Linux also. You better not change it. Okay, you can do the customization in specific folder, you can keep it, but not a very good idea. The reason being, the same key pair, the way that you are using your public key to connect to the, sorry, you are using the private key to, and then sharing your this public key also from this corresponding key pair to connect to the GitHub repo. Similarly, you can use it with any other remote server. The same key pair, you can use it. So when the system puts it by default, it will also search it in the default path itself. So if you forget to update it, you're somewhere down the line. I mean, like whenever you're trying to automate, your scripts will fail. Because, and also you may not remember, somebody else is doing the work. Like after you created in a remote path, and then I came to work. Okay, usually that is how IT industry works 24/7. It works on distributed architecture. So somebody is in New York, somebody is working in London, somebody is working in maybe Hyderabad. So 3 different time zones, and they will keep giving shift handover to each other. Now maybe you are in London, and then you created the keygen in a different folder, in a customized folder. You did not give me that information. And then I did not find it. So I created it in the default path. That is why it is not a good idea to change this, but then you can customize it. Let us not get into granular complexities here. Yes, you can do it, but my advice right now, don't do it. First, choose the easiest happy path, because in even accomplishing the happy path, the easiest path, here also it is becoming so complex, right? Don't add further complexity. First, understand the basic thing so that, and then implement it first. Experimentation, you do it later on, after you have attained the first level of your whatever lab I am teaching. Hold your experimentation for that time period. Having said that, let me continue. So your SSH keygen is supposed to produce 2 keys. One is a private key and one is a public key. The names would be very specific. ID underscore RSA. RSA is the algorithm that was used, okay, to create the key. By default, it will be RSA. If it is something else, then again, that will be a complicated command. A different algorithm is something like ED25519. There's a different algorithm. That is actually part of encryption course. So you don't need to bother about it right now. Oops. So 2 parts of the key. One is the private key that will be named as ID underscore RSA. And the other one will be ID RSA dot pub. Pub stands for public. Okay. So this is what we are in the phase of doing right now. IDR. So this is where it is generating public, private. The algorithm is RSA. The kind of key pair it is, this is a RSA. So enter file in which to save. So fine, just press enter. Don't do anything here. This is the place actually where you can do the customization, but don't do it right now. Enter passphrase. So in this path, both the private and the public keys, both will be, once I go through this process, I've navigated to this folder. Let me go there. And it will get stored here. Okay. We will come back to this. So passphrase is an additional level of security. Like you are even access your keys, it will again prompt you for a password. So I'm ignoring it. I'm not doing that, because in daily life, if you have 10 servers and every time you keep a password, that is a big time headache. So if you press enter again, so basically you have not put in any password. And if it has done successfully, there will be this kind of some kind of random art. Okay, so this is related to encryption. So you can ignore this. So this is actually 3072. That means 1024 into 3. This is a 3072 level encryption. Okay. Military grade is like 4096. It is just 1024 bits lesser. So this is also very high. I mean, like if somebody tries to decrypt it using brute force, first of all, they will need hundreds and thousands of computers, which they will have to keep running 24/7. And over a period of, literally speaking, they will have to keep it running for millions of years. So practically, it is not possible to break this level of encryption using binary computers. Anyways, so we have generated our key pair. So if I go to the SSH folder, as you can see, there is a ID RSA pub and ID RSA. So this one is your private key and this one is your public key. Now by email, this is what the developer should be sending. Okay, so let me grab this screenshot. This sort of shows everything, right, along with the command. So this will be helpful for you later on to revisit what is happening. Okay, so these are the, after this thing successfully completes, this is the private key. This is what you're going to connect with, and this is the .pub, signifies that it is a public key. Now this is the key that you will send as an attachment to the GitHub Operations Manager. Okay, operations. Actually, I should have completed it with the word manager. Okay, because you will be, I mean, like the gentleman will definitely identify you. So that is an internal authentication. Okay, like at a human level. Obviously, that's why I mentioned the Active Directory thing. I mean, like both of you know that you are part of the same project organization. So when you start a project, actually as a part of the project plan, when there is the first, what is it called? The first meeting, there is a specific name for that. I'm forgetting. When you start a project, there is a initial meeting where the stakeholders, project team members, organizational hierarchy, all of that is supposed to be introduced, even if not in the meeting, at least as part of the meeting notes. So everybody knows their place, like in an organization hierarchy level, who is reporting to whom and who is responsible for what job role. In a properly, maybe like if you're using agile methodology in the project with Scrum framework, then this is the proper way to do it. Okay, so I'm expecting, I'm like the use case that I'm using is I'm expecting that that is what is going to happen in the organization. So now that the the developer has shared the ID RSA public key, what then? So here, obviously, I'm not sending any email. I already have the public key with me. So all I need to do is I need to now, actually, I need to open the content of this public key and then add it in GitHub. Okay, so this is a little bit tricky. So let me show you how to do that. Where is it? Here. So I will go to this folder here. Now I need to see the content of this. Where am I actually? Yes. So I can right click on it, and I have installed Notepad++. Okay. You can also do this in your system. I don't remember if I've shown this, but it is a very helpful, what is it? Notepad++. I'll just share the link with you. Okay, click on this. Use this link to download this. The reason being, it actually allows you to open it in multiple tabs. Okay, use this link to download. And yeah, there will be many options, but choose the first one. This one, okay. Now, using Notepad++, what happens is, why I have installed Notepad++ is I can easily right click on this kind of file and I can click on edit. Although I will not be editing, it will actually show me the details here. Okay, so it is becoming very lengthy. So what I'll do is there should be some word wrap somewhere. Word wrap, yeah. So if I wrap it up, I can see the entire content here. So this is the public key. All you need to do here is now use the key. I'm showing you what I'm going to do in the keyboard. Okay, so in your keyboard, don't try to drag and copy. Just press Control A. Okay, that will select that entire thing. And then again, Control C. That will copy the entire thing. Okay, so now you have copied the content. Good. This is what the developer is going to do. I mean, like maybe he has sent it as an attachment or in the body of the email itself. Both will work. Now, let us assume the GitHub remote repo manager, he has received the email, he or she has received the email. Now they want to authenticate that developer. So what they have to do is go to the settings here. Now this thing, I'm showing it as of today. This is how it is looking like. But remember, they keep changing the user interface. Okay. So maybe down the line, after 6-7 months, it might look different. But the concept will still be the same. Okay. So here, you go to settings. Okay, for some reason it is still waiting. Let me actually show you one thing. Here, there are two settings. One is from the profile, okay? The other one is also here. Let me see. This settings is specifically for this DevOps Basics project, okay? Let me see if I can add it here. Then I will actually localize the access specific to only this project folder. Let me see. So here, there are code security analysis, deploy keys, secrets and variables, webhooks. No, not really. No, they have not given that option. Webhook is different. Deploy keys also, I don't think it will. No, this is also not work. Secrets and variables. I'm just checking if they have added anything or not. No, not really. Okay, so it will not work here. Come out of it. So this is your project. Again, go back. So don't click on this settings. This will not work. This is specific to the DevOps project only. So what we are rather going to use is the profile settings here. Under your profile, click on this and go to settings. Remember, there are we are using the free version of GitHub. So there would be certain things which will, I mean, like in a company account, a paid premium account, it will look very different. You will have more options, more features. So here, if you come to this part, you will have this SSH and GPG keys, right? So click on this and we are intending to add a public key in the SSH section. So click on new SSH key. From here, it is pretty straightforward. So here you have, it is still loading or what? Yeah. So here in the title, let us name it so that it is identifiable. Developer Kalol. Okay. So whose key is it? And then for authentication. And then just, so I've already copied it. I'll just press to paste it. Just click Control V. That's it.
Sorry, Kilol, can you show us one more time, please? I missed that location. I cannot find that SSH and GPG keys.
Here. On the right, left. No, are you saying, okay.
Yeah, under the access, I don't have that. That's what I'm saying. So I guess I miss some. Oh, you were on the actual user. Okay, B71, which is my user. Okay.
No, why is B71 your user? That is my
No,
user.
like
you do one
yeah,
thing, you share your screen. Share your screen.
Okay.
Let me. Okay, how do I? Yeah, okay, I have to stop sharing. You share your screen, please.
Sure, yeah. So now here, my repo.
Then go to, no, where, no, this does not matter which project you are in. Does not matter. This is a profile level setting.
Okay, that's what I was, I missed it.
No, on that, click on top right corner where it says ANS.
Oh, here.
You're on the left. I'm saying top right.
Oh, top right, sorry.
Yeah, settings. These settings you have to click. And then got it? Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Right. Let me get back to sharing my screen so that I can complete the process here. Now, make sure your cursor does not include any extra lines. Okay. And the last thing, so it was actually looking like this. If you follow my cursor here, I actually pressed a backspace once. So if you see, it has actually picked up the username at the desktop from which it has picked it up. Okay. From where it is coming. So that's all you need to do. And you can click on SSH, add SSH key. But before that, GitHub will try to confirm your password. So I've already got it saved here, and then click on confirm. So now the developer Kalol has been authenticated by the GitHub Operations Manager. Now developer Kalol should be able to read and write. They will have that access. Okay. So I also use other Git repositories. So depending on the company who is providing the service, there can be additional features also. Like if you use GitLab, they will provide you with a period of time for which this key will be valid, a month or 2 or something like that. You can choose a custom date. Because SSH keys are not supposed to be indefinite. I mean, like users should not have indefinite access to it. It is a time-bound thing. Should be a time-bound thing. That is a part of, because now SSH keys access is a very dangerous thing. Once a person has got access using SSH keys, you will not even realize, like they don't need anything else. You will not even realize what is happening to your system. All the things like code level access, they literally will have programmatic access to your resources. Okay. Now, having said that, let's go back to, we are done with this. So we have successfully added the key pair developer. I just click on this kitty and go back to your repository, DevOps Basics. Now let us try to connect. So here I am. Right. So now let me try to, well, I'm already on the project folder. So let me clear the screen and git status. As we have seen, we know that our branch is 1 ahead. So if I do git push now, let's see what it comes up with, because it should be trying to connect. Okay, sign in with your browser, sign in with the code. Okay, it is coming up with this. So actually I will have to do the SSH. This is a different method of authentication. Okay, now here the issue is like it is expecting like this will only work if you have got GUI level access, but it may not be like that. Okay, maybe you will have only a command line interface access. Okay, so give me a second. Let me just check. Now, obviously, this will not work. So there is some other pop-up. No, so developer obviously will not have all of this, right? GitHub.com, the username, the username and password details, they will not have this. So let me cancel this. So let us do a SSH check. Okay, why is it not coming? Let me just press Control C. Actually waiting for command here. Click on. So let me first of all see if I'm able to SSH into the GitHub domain at all. Okay. So for that, what you can do is SSH and test. So for that, hyphen capital T. and then Git. You are using Git client. So Git at the domain. Domain is what? GitHub.com. Okay. Your system will by default pick up the SSH private key. Let me see. If it does not work, then I will actually have to specify which key to use. And if I press enter, see, now it is coming up with something here. Let me type yes. Now, if you can see here, you have got this message, B71 DevOps. You have successfully authenticated. Okay. So now this Windows system has got access to the B71 DevOps user at github.com. This is a unique user. No other user has got this name in the GitHub domain, mind you. Okay. So now my Windows system is successfully authenticated. Okay. It searched for, so that is the reason why I told you do not change the default path. Okay. Now, if you would have changed the path where you were storing the key pair, then you would also have to remember the path where you have stored it. So these things, usually there is a protocol that is supposed to be followed. Yes, you might need to keep it separately in some, now from here it is becoming very complex and the use cases would be very different. You usually in companies, what happens is a hybrid model is used wherein they would have their own private cloud. They would have their own localized data center, which will be connecting to some some other cloud providers data center, for example, AWS or Azure or DigitalOcean, Linode, things like that. Okay. So there is actually a hybrid model. So they might want to keep their user IDs, passwords, active directories, and all this the highly secure data in their private cloud. That is where you actually should use different path names. Okay. But it is not something that is standard protocol until and unless you have some network teams administrator giving you the protocols to follow. Not a very good idea to do this. Okay. That is the reason why I asked you not to fiddle with it. But you can do it, of course. But then see, now when I used this command, it worked. See, I did not tell it where to search. There is something that happens by default. Okay. So it searched in the default directory for the user. In this case, I'm logged in as, in the Windows system, I'm logged in as admin1. So it checked in the admin1 directory. If I would have logged in as some other user like admin2, then and created the SSH keygen, then that SSH key pair would be for admin2. It would have checked in that folder. Make sense? So now I should be able to do git push because the authentication is done. I should not get that error anymore. So, and let me try git push now. But there are certain steps which I have missed still now. Let's see what it happens. Why is it coming up with it? This is not expected. Okay. If it is asking to, but you're not supposed to do that. Sign in with your browser. That means you already have access. No, I've already authenticated and it has also done the authentication. Let's, okay. The username is something shareable, so that can be done. I'll put B71 DevOps. Let's see. But if it asks for password, then definitely this is not going to work. Okay, there is another thing. Why is it picking up ED25519? Interesting. Not a very good thing. Okay, so if it is going down the password route, that is not something that we are doing at all. So let me just do a Control-C. No, I'm not interested in giving any password. That is not the path we are doing. So let me clear the screen here. Rather, let me do a SSH. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35 36 37 38 39 40 41 42 43 44 45 46 47 48 49 50 51 52 53 54 55 56 57 58 59 60 61 62 63 64 65 66 67 68 69 70 71 72 73 74 75 76 77 78 79 80 81 82 83 84 85 86 87 88 89 90 91 92 93 94 95 96 97 98 99 100 101 102 103 104 105 106 107 108 109 110 111 112 113 114 115 116 117 118 119 120 121 122 123 124 125 126 127 128 129 130 131 132 133 134 135 136 137 138 139 140 141 142 143 144 145 146 147 148 149 150 151 152 153 154 155 156 157 158 159 a particular key pair I have to use. So I have to give the path. Let me give the path. -t and then -i, wherein I'm telling the path also. So here it will be a little bit tricky. The path is this one. How do I get this? C users admin. Okay, let me do one thing. I will grab the path first. CD into, okay. This is the different difficulty in working with Windows system. So C users admin. Okay, so let me just CD into this part here. Will not go up to desktop. I'll just go up to here and then do LL. Oops, too much. Oh, .ssh, right? And then .ssh, enter, Control L. So if I do pwd and if I do LL, right, now I have got my path. So now I will specify which key I want to use to connect. So SSH -i is for giving the path. So you have to give the entire path and it has to be in the Linux format. Okay, that is the reason why I did this as a navigation here. And then after SSH, which key are you going to use? So go back to the diagram. Obviously, you are going to use the private key to connect. Okay. You will always use the private key to connect here. The public key is stored by the repo manager, but the connecting PC will always use the private key. So which one is the private key here? id_rsa.pub. Okay, so choose the correct one. Sorry. .pub is public. id_rsa is the private key. So you are going to use the private key. I'm repeating again. id_rsa, my bad. I mispronounced. id_rsa is your private key and id_rsa.pub is the public key. This public key part, you have sent it to the GitHub Operations Manager who can then validate. Okay. So they have added it, which I did just now. Okay. As a operations manager, I added the public key. But now to connect, now that it is added, now you should be able to connect using this private key. This is not something you will share. Okay. This is like a zero tolerance policy in work organizations. If you are, if you have shared private key, that is a complete big no. Never do it. Now we will do, what was the name? I forgot. B71. So let us do directly. We are using the username at github.com directly. So instead of giving git, just do b71 devops at github.com. Why so? Permission denied public key. Okay, that was not expected.
Location is wrong. It has to be backslash, right? The C:\\.
No, this is Linux format, right? This is Linux format.
But the key is located in our locally, right?
But you are using git bash. So it is using, so that's why I did pwd, right? See the way it is git bash shell which is accessing it, not Windows.
Okay.
So the path, this slash will have to be, has to remain same. Let me do the same thing. Instead of B71 DevOps, let me use, maybe there was a typo error. So let me just see if it is getting access to the Git using Git at GitHub. github.com, press enter. You have successfully authenticated, but get PTY allocation request failed. Now, these are the issues that you will always face when you're trying to use Windows system. Okay. These kind of things. So it is giving me both the messages actually, that it is failed and yet it is succeeded. Hi, B71 DevOps, you have successfully authenticated. So now this time I actually used IDRSA, right? So it is actually a success. But then if it is a success, then I should be able to do git push also. Yeah. See, I understand one thing. This B71 DevOps, in this command line, I have not given. I just connected with git at github.com. Okay. It has identified using my private key. It has automatically identified it. Right. So in that sense, I am successfully connected. Okay. Now, earlier what happened is Windows also by default, this is the issue with Windows. It created a different kind of key pair. It is using ED25519, but I did not do that. I had used RSA, right? So, but now using my RSA key, ID RSA private key, it has authenticated. So let me just see git push. Actually, ideally, it should prompt you with, okay, not a Git repository or any of the, all right. So here we have to actually identify our branches. Okay, there are few other commands that we will need to do. So you will have to give other commands here. Now, if you, so see, this is the difference. I mean, like, because this is a Windows system, the same thing, if you do it in a Linux system, it will actually automatically prompt you with the correct command sets that you need to do. Okay. So here, git push alone will not work. Git push will work later on. Initially, you will have to define the branch name. Okay. So from which branch, where do you want to copy? I want to copy it to the origin. Sorry. Origin means your remote repo. ORIGIN. Origin is a keyword here. Okay. Git keyword. That means I want to push my file here in this branch. So in this path, actually, this github.com B71 DevOps basics.git. This is the origin. Inside that, there is the branch called main. Okay. So I want so it is referring to this thing here. But in my local branch, local repo also I have got a branch. So what is that branch name? I want to push that particular branch. So my local branch name is also called main because I had cloned it, right? So this is the command that you have to give. Let's see. Okay.
Fatal. Do you have to have the project location?
Project allocation. What do you mean by that?
No, the project location. You are not right now at the project location, right? You are on.
Oh, yeah. Okay, okay. My bad. No wonder it is not working. I'm in the SSH folder. No wonder it is not working. Yeah, nice observation. These silly things happen. Actually, I'm typing and teaching at the same time. So no wonder I made this mistake. So I should be in the DevOps basics folder, actually. No wonder it is not working. Yeah, one thing I missed, I did not observe. Like there is the git main branch here, right? So let me directly. So first of all, let me do the trust check here. Working tick green. And if I do git ls-files, it will show whatever git has accumulated in the local directory. So I'm actually looking for that. It will show all the files, but the file that I created yesterday, test.txt. I'm interested in this file. This file is not present in the remote repo. And after a successful push, it should be present. So let's, and I'm in the main branch. Good. So if I do git push now, let's see what it comes up with. Actually, that origin main needs to be given. Okay, so yeah, it is reverting back to that same thing. No, I'm not going to do this. Control C. So do a git. Yeah, I should not have closed that other window. Let me see.
If you hit git status, it doesn't
Sir,
say.
Hi, sir. This is Vijay.
Yes, Vijay.
Sir, why don't you use our GitHub username and take one?
Because I can use it, but the idea here is your GitHub user is the operations manager, right? They are two different people.
Yes,
the
sir,
developer, yeah.
Means,
why will the developer have access? This is a secure thing. Why will everybody? So if there are 10 developers, if everybody has access to the GitHub repo and one person leaves the company, then that is a security threat to the company. The entire code base is present in the GitHub.
Sometimes I'm using GitHub user and I'm generating one GitHub token, sir. That is the password. That will work out maybe.
Yeah. So that token thing that you are saying, that is again from a Windows system. Okay. Because you are using GUI. Now the process that I'm teaching you, that is SSH. Completely, first of all, you are maintaining the, so when you are generating that token, you can do that, but that is a GUI method. What if your system, like in the second case, you will not have a GUI here in this EC2 instance, right? Using GUI methods is easy, but SSH using complete command line interface, that is something you should definitely know. Okay, so a token is also something that you can use, but that will be restricted to your system again. Okay, that token thing I will really not prefer, because this anyways should work. The SSH, that is the whole point. This is complete command line interface to command line interface. So let me just figure it out. What is the problem here? So just wait. You are using token. That's fine. That is also another way. There are multiple ways of doing things, but that involves GUI. That is what I'm trying to tell you. You will not always have access to graphical user interface.
But Kilo, it says that okay, nothing to commit. That's why we cannot push it.
No, there is something to commit. Your branch is ahead. Who said? There is one commit. Your local repo is one commit ahead of remote repo.
But at the bottom it says nothing to commit. Working.
Nothing to commit. Nothing to commit in your local repo. There is no green file, right? When I did git status, like there is. Okay, you are confusing here. Let me show you. Remind you. Always whenever you are confused with git, always come back to this diagram in day, whatever day it is, this one. So when there is nothing to commit, that means in your local repo, all the files are present. They are not present in the remote repo. That is why otherwise, if everything, there is nothing, see, git commit and git push are different things. If there would be something in the staging area, Git has identified some file or folder which is not present in the local repo, but it is present in the staging area, then it will show you that file in green color. If it is not even in the staging area, but in the working directory, that means in your project folder, you are fiddling with some file or folder, you are creating something, experimenting, then it will mention, then it will be in red. There are different. So these are actually the way Git works is it creates snapshots. Okay, so these are individual snapshots when it is in the working directory compared to staging area compared to local repo. So I am presently in this local repo stage. I have done the git commit. That is why there is nothing to commit. Make sense? You're still confused. Think. Actually think and ask. Let me see. Oh, sorry, not git. I'm supposed to use SSH. My bad. Now, that is what I'm wondering. I've got this. So let me see. Now it should work. So git push. This thing anyways I had to do. Origin main. This is mandatory actually for the first time. Now let me see. Come on, don't come up with the token. Otherwise I'll have to do some troubleshooting. Yeah. Let me check this. We will resolve this tomorrow. I'll check this now. We are already overshot the meeting by 5 minutes. Yeah, let me check this. Somehow it is not picking up the SSH key. That is the reason why it is asking me again and again. So yeah, we can generate the token, personal access token, but then who is signing in? Okay, that is the problem here. As a developer, you do not need a GitHub account to access the remote GitHub account. Okay, so this is a personal sign-in that it is asking. Sign in with your browser, sign in with the code. No. So it is actually forcing you to do a GitHub sign up. I don't want to do that. I just have my code. I have got SSH connection from my system. So I should be able to transfer this code. Let me replicate this scenario. It's actually from a Windows system. I usually work from Linux systems. Right. So we have actually this thing pending. Again, it is going back to the same thing. Let me figure this out. Apart from this, any other question? This thing is pending on me. It's my KRA. I will do this. Manam, did you realize this part? Nothing to commit. Why there is nothing to commit? If you are confused with this, then check previous video where I went through that process. Git add, git commit. Okay. All the files which were newly created, in this case, there was only one file, test.txt. That only got committed. So there is really nothing to commit. That is why it is saying that. When it is saying nothing to commit, that means my local repository is up to date. The test, there is only one file missing, which is not present in the remote repo. That is the whole point of doing git push. So tomorrow I will solve this. No, let me see. Oh, sorry, this is Friday today. So yeah, we will meet again on Monday. Yeah, Manam, are you clear that in this part? If you are not clear, you will have to visit Git.
Yes, I'll take
take a look at it again. Okay, because the way what you said, it is sounding as if you have not understood the Git process properly. Right. Are there any questions for me, or else I will wrap up the session now? Somebody has posted something on chat. Let me see. No problem. Cool. Thank you guys for joining. You guys have a great weekend. I think admin team wants to.
I would like to just let one thing know that people who have not registered yet, please register, because from Monday, only the paid students will have access to the class. I'll share the link in the chat.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much for joining, guys. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.